Welcome back to SportsZone. I'm your host, Steven Lucero, and we're going to talk about the Texas Rangers. It's been a turbulent season for the Rangers, and joining me to talk about it, Rohan, Srinivasan, and Will Miller. For the Rangers, guys, it's been wild. I mean, we're now in September, getting closer and closer to the playoffs, and it's just been up and down for Texas. It's been wild. I mean, a slow start, they kind of got going, injuries happened. It's been crazy, but I want to talk about recently because despite everyone hurt, you got a good series win in the Silver Boot Series against the Houston Astros. Won 2 of those 3 games. So I want to start there before we get into last night. Rohan, what did you see from Texas against Houston?
They were unbelievable, guys, honestly. I mean, except for DeGrom Day, got beat 11-0. Other than that, Josh Young, man, let's talk about him. On base every single time, getting a hit in every single game. He's been absolutely impressive. Young guys have been impressive too, but Josh Young has been absolutely unbelievable. 3.5 back from the division. And guess what? We play them again on September 15th, so we have a chance to gain more ground on that. Possibly if we win 2 out of 3, then it's around 2.5 back. So I like our chances there.
Okay, so the young guys and Josh Young, I like it. A lot of youth in here. Will, how are you feeling about the Rangers, and what do you think about that huge, should I say, series win against the Houston Astros?
Yeah, I mean, to Rohan's point about the young guys, I think that, you know, especially on a veteran-laden team, their energy is really starting to become infectious recently. This team's gone 12-4, obviously a really impressive series victory over the Astros, and I think Cody Freeman, for instance, is another guy who is really bringing the energy to his team. You know, not necessarily a big slugger or anything, but he's getting on base, he's making plays, with his legs, and I think that he is providing, a little bit of energy to the clubhouse right now, and I think that overall, you're just seeing a really balanced attack from this team right now, withstanding the tide of injuries to, basically all 3 of their best players, arguably, besides DeGrom. And, they are doing whatever they can to keep themselves in the playoff race, which, you got to give their hats off given their situation this year, like you said, Steven.
Yeah, like you said, the injuries have been wild. I mean, I'll just list off a few of them. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Nathan Eovaldi, Evan Carter, and the list goes on. I mean, that's like half of them, but we'd be here all night. The reality, though, is despite all the injuries, you've had young guys come up. Dustin Harris was one, had a walk-off. Cody Freeman, we talked about. So many young guys, new guys. Michael Hellman, we'll talk about him from last night.
We will.
I mean, they've found a way to keep this team afloat, and not just afloat, but winning. Rohan, do you think that this is maybe some motivation for some of these injured guys to find a way to come back before a potential playoff push, dare I say?
It is, honestly, because we're 1.5 back from the wild card.
Exactly.
So 3rd wild card spot, yes. But if you asked me 2 months ago, man, we were hovering around 500. It wasn't looking good. But yeah, oh man, Hellman, man, I mean, he's been awesome, man. How about the first team grand slam coming in September, bottom of the 5th, delivering for them? It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, it was incredible. We'll talk about last night real quick. You shut out the Brewers, who are first in their division. They're supposed to be the hottest team in baseball right now,
scored runs finally, Steven.
They scored runs, and they didn't. 5-0, all basically off the bat of Michael Hellman.
Yep.
It was incredible what the Rangers were able to do. So just walk me through it, Will. What did you see from the Rangers last night against Milwaukee, and how do you think they can kind of carry that momentum into the rest of the series?
Yeah, obviously, anytime that you have a shutout, that, not just standpoint, but, that means that everybody in the infield, everybody in the outfield, essentially, are making plays, and they're stepping up, especially when the going gets tough. We're approaching October baseball. The pressure, the ante is up a little bit. It's impressive for a mixed group that, is having a lot of injuries to be able to kind of mitigate through this stretch. And I thought that, reliever pitcher Sean Armstrong really kind of embodied the spirit of this team in the post-game interview last night. Was just talking about what Bruce Bochy and the management brought him in to do, and how much of a winning culture that the Rangers have kind of tried to establish ever since that 2023 World Series championship. And I think that that is something that is sort of carrying over through this stretch, despite all the adversity they're facing. I think guys are just really dialed on their task. It's not really a big hoorah group. They're here to try to win baseball games, and despite whatever they're going through, they want to try to get in that wild card slot, or maybe even a little bit higher, like Rohan said,
right
before October approaches.
And I really have to say this. I have to ask the question. Adolis Garcia, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, all of them are out. Great players. But don't you want to keep the hot streak going, Steven? I have to ask you that because they are stars. They're 2023 world champions. However, in September, they haven't been hot in August, whatever it is, right? Do you bring them back off of injury, or do you stick with this lineup given how hot they are?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think for me, you don't rush them back. I think they need to be fully healthy because I think if you had asked me that a few weeks ago, I'd say get them back, get them healthy as soon as we possibly can. But now with this young lineup kind of holding down the fort, as soon as I can get Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Dolis Garcia, despite their struggles, healthy, fully healthy, I want them in the lineup. I mean, I know what they are capable of doing, especially when it gets to October.
Right.
But I'm not rushing them back because all of a sudden it's like we're not desperate. We have players stepping up, making it happen. What are you thinking on that, Rohan?
Because we are desperate, though, Steven, because if we want to win the division, a couple months ago, sports betting apps, odd makers, 3% chance to win the AL West. Are you kidding me? Now we're 3.5 back, and we could be even 1.5 back whenever we meet them on September 15th. And guess who is scheduled to come back? Adolis Garcia on September 15th. So I really like our chances there. So that's why I asked that, because our stars, they're good against good teams. We're blowing these losses. It's absolutely crazy. Like, whenever we give up 0 runs, we're not scoring any. So there's a problem with that, and our offense has to get going.
Yeah, it definitely does. And Will, with the offense, how do you feel about kind of mixing in the lineup and hoping that those players get healthy before the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you got some elite sluggers that are out right now, and Garcia, Semien and Seager. And for the Rangers to be able to make it through, there's not going to be, plays every night like Michael Hellman hitting a grand slam. They're going to have to get different guys to step up. They're going to have to get different swing factors to go their way. I think their relievers are going to have to be really good through this stretch. It is going to be tough. But I would tend to agree with you, Steven, that just because of them still being in that 1.5 game range out of the wild card, with these guys kind of projecting to be back right before the season by all accounts, I don't think that there needs to be a huge impetus to rush them back. The Rangers just need to hold the fort down as long as they can, and when these guys are fully healthy, you don't want them hurt for the playoff stretch. That would be even a bigger disaster. If they can get them back right beforehand, I think that this offense has a chance to, do some big things in the postseason.
It was so crazy because who hits a grand slam and then Boch puts him at 9th in the lineup today? And it's not going to look any prettier, guys, because Houston is up 3-0 at the moment. It's only going to get tougher for these Rangers.
Yeah, they're going to have to fight, and they're going to have to fight hard. I mean, the division, it's technically in reach, but I think that wild card is going to be a little bit more realistic. I want to talk a little bit about pitching just because we talked a lot of bats, but the pitching is huge as well. Obviously, Nathan Eovaldi's out. That one I think is a little more significant. I'm not sure if he finds a way back, but I'll just ask you, Rohan, real quick. Looking around the rest of the starters, DeGrom, Leiter, Patrick Corbin, it's
not looking good.
Well, how are you feeling about the depth for starters and the bullpen as well?
I think, bullpen has always been a problem except for Armstrong. He's really come around, which I really like. But Nathan Eovaldi's our Cy Young. He was our Cy Young, and to have him sit and to still be winning, that's a great sign for this offense. But what I don't like is the fact that DeGrom gives up 4 runs that's a bad day for him, guys. Yeah. I guarantee you the next game he's going to pitch, especially in the postseason, he will show up.
Yep, it's going to be exciting, and I can't wait to see how the rest of the season goes for Texas. I'm not giving up yet. I think that they find a way to sneak into the playoffs, and then, hey, we'll see from there. But coming up next, we're going to talk about the U.S. Open and hear from Sabalenka after her match winning at the U.S. Open.